So yeah, it was the article about desktop page experience update from Google.
Oh,
That they're going to pages can get a ranking boost if they offer good page experience for desktop as they do with mobile.
right. This actually rolled out last month.
Mhm.
So, and I find it really interesting in the sense that Google's crawler is mostly mobile first at this point. So they're evaluating the mobile version of your site for ranking. I find it very interesting that Google's rolling out desktop page experience, because if the crawler is mobile first, does that matter very much to Google? However, what I also have experienced is that it's really a lot easier to get, if you've worked hard to get the mobile experience compliant, the desktop experience is going to be very good.
Mhm.
In fact, almost all my clients, even the ones that really struggled with getting the mobile page speed experience up to speed, their desktop's doing great.
Mhm.
So go into Search Console and look and compare under the Core Web Vitals report to see, compare your mobile with your desktop. And you might find your desktop is doing just fine.
Mhm.
So, but if I was to fix something, I would probably focus on fixing it on the mobile, hoping that by fixing it on a mobile, it also fixes it on desktop.
So is it mainly talking about page speed when it talks about page experience?
So the page experience, and this is we got to remember what Google means by the. So we oversimplify and say Google uses speed as a ranking factor, but Google said we have a real hard time measuring true page speed. Right? Page speed when you're on a 3G connection on your cell phone is a very different experience than the gigabyte fiber that I have at home.
Mhm.
And so which should Google use? And so what they said is, rather than use speed as a factor, we're going to use the Core Web Vitals, the page experience factors, as ranking factors.
Mhm.
And so while if you have a faster load time, you probably are doing okay with the Core Web Vitals, some of the Core Web Vitals really have nothing to do with speed.
Right.
And so focus on the Core Web Vitals. They will probably help your website be faster. But how do we measure speed? Well, Google basically said, we don't know how to measure speed. We're focusing on these three things. So, sometimes people like things like GTmetrix. Yes, that can help you find speed problems, but that's not what Google's looking at. Google's looking at the three Web Core Vitals. So yeah, it will help everybody if your website loads faster, but Google, and by loading fast, you're probably have fixed the Core Web Vitals, but theoretically, you might be a fast website that doesn't affect Core Web Vitals. For instance, improving caching on a web page will improve the speed.
Mhm.
But Google Spider is not using cached pages to determine ranking. Right? So, I mean, they're caching pages to add to the index, but that's, it's so you can have the feel and experience of being a very fast website, but it still failed the Core Web Vitals.
Mhm.
And so focus on the three Core Web Vitals. Yes, speed is a function of that, but it's not all what it's about. And I would still, even though the update for the desktop is released and now that it's a ranking factor, I would focus on improving my mobile, which will in turn consequently improve my desktop. It's very rare is there something that would affect your desktop that would not also be benefited with your mobile, because most of our websites at this point are responsive. So they're seeing the same code, just seeing it range differently.
Right.
Right. So focus on the mobile and you'll find that your desktop will do better.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've advised my clients. But honestly, we work so hard on the mobile for so many of my clients that the desktop is looking great, looking better than the mobile. And I don't have to get 100%. I just have to pass the through web core vitals.
Yeah.
And now Google is rewarding that.
Cool. That makes sense.
Okay.